Hi, have you ever committed to building something before it even exists? That's exactly what Linda Mohamed does. Linda is an AWS hero based in Austria, and in this episode, she's going to tell you why it works. So, thanks for joining the AWS Developers Podcast. If you like the show, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. And now, enjoy the show. Hi, Linda. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's Friday, so happy Friday.
Yay!
All right. So I wanted to have you, and thanks for accepting the invitation. I wanted to discuss about. I mean, I know that you are super active. I know that you are producing a lot of great videos when you do when you go to events. Like I remember the ones that you produce at Hero Summits, private ones, and also at reInvent. So really good fun there. But I know that you are super active in the community. So. Wanted to have a discussion with you about how you lead all your activities in the community with AWS, and also how you engage. How does it help you with your own practice, your business, because you are an independent, a contractor. So yeah. So those were the things I wanted to discuss with you today.
Great. So, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, it's really great having this Friday like ending with an amazing conversation. So, really looking forward to talking about those topics.
Yeah,
Yeah, should I start with introducing myself
please
a
do.
little bit further? Because there's also a Linda before the AWS community.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so as I said, thanks for having me. I'm really, really happy to talk about especially being self employed because this is pretty new for me. So, starting backwards with the introduction, I'm at the moment a self employed, independent cloud consultant. As you already mentioned, I'm an AWS Community Hero, also a user group leader, and the chairwoman of the Förderverein of the AWS Community DACH, which you cannot see here because of the microphone, and also the deputy chairwoman of an open source foundation in Austria, like actually the biggest one. So you can see I'm doing a lot of voluntary things just to what I'm doing now. But I want to also use this episode to kind of introduce a little bit more of what I did in the past
Yeah.
because I'm doing cloud for I don't know, like it's 6 or 7 years now, but I'm in tech like more than 10 years. And actually, I started as a Java developer, so I was working in on-premises environments and like real enterprise Java development. And it was like kind of crazy how things changed because when I started as a developer, there was like no things like serverless and Lambda wasn't even there yet. It was
10 years ago,
kind of
yes.
crazy. Yeah, exactly. It was even like a little bit more than 10 years ago. And also at the time when those things like started, when I don't know, serverless started, it was not that this was a thing in Austria back then. So we're like a little bit far behind, but yeah, I have like a really diverse technical background. I also studied part-time business informatics, like besides working as a Java developer. In telecommunications, I did like a lot of different things, being a product owner, business analyst, and doing technical project management. So yeah, I usually mainly talk about the things that I'm doing in the community and like in the AWS environment. But I don't know, like I was thinking a lot about the time, like why I actually really changed my kind of profession
Uh-huh.
from like software development to like DevOps and cloud and AI. It was kind of like the same time when I was like, okay, probably I'm not going to be a Java developer for my whole life. And then I started exploring machine learning technologies before there was like generative AI and stuff like that.
Nice. So why? Why did you do that? And how did you do that? Okay. Because as a Java developer working in a large company, this is I would say Very interesting. As because you are my people, I have also a Java background. So,
I know.
but how did you pivot to and why did you decide to change that way?
So I think it all started with Lambda, or actually with Amazon Echo with Alexa, because back then, as a Java developer and a product owner of the smart home product, which was like voice assistants back then, it was like the perfect connection to use with smart home, because those were like the first use cases to turn on and off your light and stuff like that with voice. So that was like my first, very, very first touch point with AWS, where I used Lambda and the Alexa skill, whatever. I don't even know how this was called
Skills,
back
yeah.
then. It was like with, yeah, skills. So but yeah, that was kind of the start, and I didn't even think about like serverless or cloud or whatever at this point. It was just like, for me, it was a tool to use a voice assistant for our product. So I came like from the real practical side of just using the cloud for things that were not there on premises at that point. And then, like, after some time, I found out that a lot of other problems could also be solved with cloud, because actually we were waiting for hardware and infrastructure for quite a time, always when we needed like to yeah, like get more instances, or like actually to get like actually more hardware, and not problems that you can solve with virtualization. So that was fine. There was like a lot of things automated already, but always if it was connected with like actual new hardware in the data center, it just took like forever. And
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, there is actually something else that I could use, and I started exploring meetups. So it was kind of the same time when I started exploring cloud. That I did that actually with going to meetups, because I just went like to every meetup where I saw like the two topics of cloud and AI, because that was like the thing where I wanted to specialize in, because the years before I was like just a developer, and I was like, no, i
Okay.
want to i want to like focus on like a specific technology. And I went to, I don't even know if it was like the first meetup or the developer day, but there was like this AWS developer day in Vienna. I don't know when it was, 2019. I think I went already to some meetups there back then. I don't know what was before. I think it was a meetup before, but it was like such a great time, because I don't know, I saw people doing things where I would have thought, wow, that's like not possible with own infrastructure. And suddenly like you can scale things like as a single developer, and that was like really fascinating for me. And that was kind of the reason why I kind of transitioned from this classical, traditional on-premise Java developer to like a more innovative engineer using emerging technologies, kind of. And then I don't know, like my idea or goal was it to use like every emerging technology out there, but
Of course.
I I skipped blockchain. So, but so not every emerging technology, but that's like kind of the thing that I'm doing, and that's kind of like my vibe. And that's you can also see that in the presentations, demos, and talks that I'm doing, that I'm like not
On the
really like
edge.
jumping on every train, but kind of like at least prototyping with everything until I know if I can use it or not.
Nice. Okay. I mean, your story reminded mine actually because I used to work for an application performance company, and we had this product that you could. It was a software-defined networking device, and when I realized that I could buy an Alexa, so I bought it from in the UK because they were not sold in Switzerland.
Yeah,
So I bought it
same.
from the yeah, okay, I bought there and I say, oh, okay, I can build a skill, so that's cool. So I did it in Java as well, and I was able to command because we had an API. I was able to command our networking through the Alexa skill. So I was super super proud, and then I created a video that went viral to my point of view because that was my first video and I got 3,000 views. So I was super happy about that. So yeah, and then I was invited to conferences to talk about it. Say, oh, there is something there. So that was fun. Alexa was a good entry point to Lambda. I knew a bit about AWS from other experiences, but yeah, that was my first time touching Lambda, and then that opened so many opportunities. It was really cool.
Yeah, but I love that you like immediately started doing talks, because for me that was like a kind of a longer journey of like having the first touch point, until like actually having the confidence of talking about it somewhere on the stage, and like really like stepping into like this next phase of knowledge sharing, and not just like knowledge consuming at meetups. So I love that. So you probably had like a little bit more experience already with
Not really. I mean, it was not intentional at all. It was just I created that video to share internally within the company. I say, hey, looks what we
ah
could do actually, and then people reach out to me, and marketing reach out to me, say, oh, we need to talk about it. Let's have a blog post. Let's have a and you should talk to our conference. I say, okay, and then there was invited to Tech Field Days. Do you remember Tech Field Days? Um,
I think
yeah. So
true.
Chris Williams, for example,
Yeah,
yeah, used to be, or maybe it's still a delegate at TechField Days. So I went there and presented there. So that was, yeah, that
nice.
was fun.
Nice, I love that. Like for my first presentation, like we also wanted to talk about like a little bit of the about the presentations. I was like, I don't know, I mentioned like the first touch point being like Lambda and Alexa. So then I experienced, so now my Alexa wanted to listen to me. Thank
As
you.
always.
Would you go to bed with me von Campbell von Spotify?
Alexa, stop. Okay, so that was like the last time that I mentioned her name. Okay, sorry.
I will keep
So
it.
it's kind of funny to have her talking next to me. So yeah, so starting with like this Amazon Echo
Yeah.
skill, and then like going like, I don't know, like thinking about the different options that you have, and not only about like this one service, and not only about Lambda. And then I was like exploring the, I don't know, the full cloud, how do you say, like cloud environment, and like different options that you have. And I had I had my first idea of a talk. I don't even know the real title, but it was like the idea of the whole talk was to have like a kind of BS bingo. So to mention like every emerging technology and thing that is kind of out there. So I was like researching of like what are like the top keywords for this
Mhm.
year or for the upcoming years. And then I was like, it was about AI. It was like cloud services and managed services and multi-cloud and whatsoever, and automated everything, and stuff like that. So I was like thinking about a use case on using like all of that. And
Of course.
and, and I came up with an idea of a multi-cloud use case of using like all of the big public cloud providers. And I don't know, like using one for storage, one for like training a machine learning model automatically with images from the internet. Like I used pictures from Instagram and whatsoever. And the use case was juggling. So I have
Oh, of
juggling
course.
balls
As
here. Oh,
always.
here.
As
Yeah.
always.
So I just recognized, like I trained the model to recognize like different juggling balls and different juggling patterns. So um, actually that's still what I'm kind of doing at the moment with like all of this video analysis. But it was just like a fun project of like just labeling if you catch or throw a ball, because like, do you have it in your hand or does it like fly around? So from my the idea, it was like super simple, and I thought like, how hard can it be? But this was like my first real cloud project, like other than the skill that I created, like just on a it was like just a exploration day in our company back then, so it was not a real project, it was just like experimenting with it. So I was like, well, how hard can it be? Let's do that. So I totally ran out of time, because what I did was, I wrote the abstract with the idea that I had, and then I
Hmm.
submitted it. And I submitted it to we are developers. So why
Wow.
not doing like a huge
Yeah.
talk there, for like a big name? Yeah, so I should have done it at a meetup first, probably. But yeah, so that's what I did. And then I figured out, like, on the way of building that a lot of things, like, I just cannot do. Like, I'm lacking the knowledge and the experience. And also it was too expensive, because I had like my, I call it my first cloud cost adventure, that where I got to know how, or why it is important to have like budget alerts and stuff,
Hmm.
and also about the costs for transferring data out of the cloud. There were like a lot of things that I learned with building this demo. And
Okay.
then at the end, it was like I wanted to use like a lot of different like managed services, as I mentioned, like this kind of like mentioning every keyword. And then I ended up just using Docker for deployment, because I just ran out of time, so I couldn't use like all of those fancy services that were out there. And that was like exactly the first question I got, like when I presented it. And I was like super happy about like my super complex architecture and using like everything. And then I got the first question like, oh, that's like really impressive what you did, and you used like this and that and whatever, but why Docker? I was like, I was running out of time, come on. And it was like, oh, totally relatable.
So were you using Docker on a EC2 instance or
Yeah, yeah, like
VM?
really,
Yeah.
really, really, it was like really, really bad. Like it didn't scale as I, like how I did it, it didn't scale at all. It was just like
Docker
really
run.
bad. Yeah,
Okay.
it was like not well thought through. It was it was no cluster involved, nothing. It was just like yeah. Also I had like, with my cost, like cloud cost adventure, of course it wasn't expensive, because of the use case, or because of the cloud costs, or also not because of the traffic out or whatever. It was expensive because I made a mistake, because I didn't know back then that you have to delete queue messages after you process them. So
Okay.
I was like, and those were the things that I learned. Like, first of all, like, have a budget alert for that. Like, if something happens, like, so that you know there's something happening. So I didn't have that. So, and also what I did, I should have known that, because I used to be a developer also at that time. So what I did on a Friday afternoon, I finished my pipeline, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna run this the whole weekend.
Oh. Oh, that sounds like a good idea indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a good idea, and I should have known that. But it was like, well, of course my private project is different from like the production environment, and those were like the things operations told me, and not what I wanted to do as a developer. But then I was like, oh, now that's different. Like, if you actually really own it, and you have to run it, if you build it, it's like you also own the costs.
Specifically on multiple clouds at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, but in the end, it was actually not expensive at all, because I opened support tickets in each cloud environments, and actually I got everything refunded.
Wow. Good. But still, you don't want to do that again. So
No.
be mindful about the cost and set the alerts for all your projects.
Yes, so that's like the first recommendation I have in this episode. If you start out with cloud, whatever, I would say, like, especially with cloud topics, please at least watch two videos about like the setup, what the regions and stuff are like. just so that you know, if you click on like one checkbox, what could happen at the end. So you don't have to do like a full course, you don't have to do like a certification or whatsoever. Just like pick out two YouTube videos that you're like, I don't know, most comfortable with, and check the basics. Although if you're already in tech, because I was in tech back then, but on premise just works way different. Like I never had to think about I don't know,
Cost.
like what happens after, actually cost, because like what happens after deployment. Like I didn't need to think about that. Like I just told the people like what the requirements are on my side, and they decided on the hardware and how to
Yeah.
scale it. And so it wasn't my yeah. So our architecture was always like including using like load balancing and stuff like that, of course. But it wasn't my decision if we use like 3 or 4 or 5 instances, and there was no auto scaling back then. So yeah, just
So
like
I have a
different
tough question for
implications.
you. I have a
Yes,
tough question
please.
for you. So for those who are new to AWS, what is the first service that you should try and use
The
as a developer?
first service as a developer, I think it totally depends what kind of developer you are, because by now a software developer is not like exactly a software developer. There's like different people. For me, for example, it was really the best way to start with Lambda, because the problem that I wanted to solve was the like all of the heavy lifting of getting my code running somewhere. So I didn't bother about not having like a front end or a UI or whatsoever. I was fine with just like testing the business logic, something that I just wanted to do. So that was fine for me. Like most of the time now when I'm building demos, I'm just starting with Lambda and probably step functions, and everything else comes later. And of course, everything with infrastructure as code. So with using Lambda, also think about like how can you properly deploy it, how can you properly build a pipeline, and just decide on what you like, how you want to do that, because there's also like so many different ways. And I wouldn't say there's a right way or a wrong way, but it's just like how you like it the most. Because
Yeah.
actually by now, compared to, I don't know, 10 years ago, 10 years ago there was like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 different options on how to deploy a container. And now there's like, I don't know, 20. And so it's like
Yeah.
it's more like, not, you have to learn this or that, but before you even experiment with it, you have to think about what kind of problem you want to solve and how do you want to use it. Because you can also get started with, I don't know, Amplify. A lot of people told me that Amplify is really great. I have never used it because I'm not a front end developer, and I don't know, I just hear it a lot from front end developers that this is like their way to go to use it. I've never used it, so I don't know. I would go for a Lambda because I also have a Lambda tattoo, so that's like
Ah.
I think it's my favorite service.
Oh yeah.
And
Sounds good. Okay. So Lambda, it is indeed. And by the way, we did a lot of effort last year to improve on the developer experience. So if you are coding on VS Code or your favorite IDE like Kiro, you can leverage the AWS extension, and that makes the whole process for deploying and operating a Lambda much easier. Really, I mean, compared to what we experienced 10 years ago, where you had to package in a zip file and upload and try that, and it was not working. So, uh, use those IDE extensions. They are great.
I'm always using the Terraform modules from Anton.
Uh huh.
So
Yep.
I don't know. Probably everybody knows Anton doing like the Terraform best practices, and I wouldn't use Terraform without his modules. I have to say. It's like everything is getting like more and more complex, and years ago I really enjoyed like solving every single problem and like really going deep in my engineer role and like actually building infrastructure the whole time. But now I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use everything that I can use from things that are proven and that are like best practices in order to keep the effort lower on my side.
That's good.
Yeah, it's also like if I'm doing things like 3 times, the fourth time latest, I'm going to automate it.
So you gave us a great example of your first talk. So, but you do present quite often during the year. You deliver talks. You go to podcasts like this one. You go to different events. So, how do you build this pipeline of ideas?
Well, I love this question because actually I have like a huge list of additional ideas that I want to build. So it's for me, it's never about like having an idea because I have so many ideas. For me, like the tipping point is to prioritize my ideas and to decide which of those ideas do I want to build, kind of. And I have a I have a how do I say, like a procedure here. So I call this conference driven development. So
Whoa.
all of the ideas that I have, I just write abstracts for it, and I submit it to different conferences. And if, like, also how I did it with we are developers, like I just had an idea and I was like, probably somebody wants to hear it, and then I'm just submitting it, and once it gets accepted, I have to build it, which is
Good.
super fun because
You
because
have to.
yeah, you have to. So sometimes it turns out that things are way more complicated than I would have thought in the beginning, but if I wouldn't try it, then I would never know it. So it's like either I think something is super complex because I didn't try it, or I think it's super easy because I didn't try it. It's like both ways. It turns out that I learned something and that others also learned something because probably they had like the same thoughts that I had, or like completely different thoughts. So I'm doing also a lot of talks now with co-speakers, and I'm trying like to combine things that I'm working on with like other topics. And that's also how I got more into like media topics. And at the moment I'm working on like this automated video pipeline. That was like a another topic. But back to the talk ideas. Actually, it's just like this conference driven development, and usually we also explain that in our talks. So the last project and the last talks that I did, which was like last year, the Otto, our Slack bot. It's kind of a multi agent system using different models, including a fine tuned model that we fine tuned with Laura using Instruct Lab, and then we deployed it with like now it's agent core runtime,
Mhm.
and using Bedrock for the model calls. And 1 year ago, when agent core runtime didn't exist yet, it was running on app runner. But the thing was that we always started with explaining that we don't do this because it's easy, but we do this because we thought it would be easy. So that's like this meme with which we start the presentation. And we're like, we actually really would have thought it's way easier to train your own model, or like fine tune. It's not like training from scratch, but fine tuning. And it
Wow.
turns out that's super super hard. And I also had conversations at the reInvent with MIT professor who's also like kind of like researching on this whole like human in the loop process and stuff. And then I asked him like, would this approach that we started with, like having one fine-tuned model within your agent setup, would this kind of solve the human in the loop? Because the model has like the model already has your input because it's fine-tuned on your knowledge, and it's not a rag approach, but it's like the model knows it. And it was like, yeah, it would be a good approach, but that's like way too expensive and way too complex. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so he also has the same experience. And then yeah, like we found out that that's like really really complex, but if you don't try it, you don't know it. And yeah, that's how I kind of validate my ideas, and that's what I will continue. So if I submit a talk somewhere, it could be that this is not fully developed yet, but this year I'm going to change it at least a little bit, because I was working on like this video pipeline last year already, and it just came like from a problem that I had. So that was like a little bit different. So I didn't even submit a talk anywhere yet for this, but I'm going to. So I really want to talk about this project this year, because I
So
just, yeah.
what is this? What is
So
that video pipeline?
so it is like, it actually consists of a lot of different components, kind of. So it actually started with just video analysis pipeline. It was just like a simple workflow of just like downsizing a video, analyzing
Hmm.
frames, using like different services like the Bedrock data automation, because I just wanted to try it, and I also wanted to compare different results of doing like the Cloud Vision call compared to Bedrock data automation, compared to the results from recognition. So it just started with like just getting a feeling of how I could analyze the content of my videos. And the simple problem is that I'm like really bad in I don't know the English word for it, but like um in summarizing things. Like I have the feeling that sometimes I have a different perception than other people. Of course, we all have. But if I'm like summarizing a conference from my point of view, and for example, I'm telling this to my sister, she's like, "Oh, that's so weird. Like this looks like this and that and whatever." And then I was like, "Okay, so probably my videos would perform better on different platforms if I actually explain what is in the video from like objective perspective, kind of. So just like the what is actually happening, like, and
Okay,
not my
perception.
yeah, perception, kind of. So that was the just the starting point. I just used this analysis pipeline to write my video descriptions for YouTube,
Hmm.
and to support my LinkedIn posts. To, I don't know, like I wrote the post, and then I was like, and now explain, oops, and now explain what people see in the video, just like also for like accessibility reasons, because yeah, there was like with the Accessibility Act, you have to add those things like to the website, and so it was just like, for me, it was a tool to explain those things and to automate it like in a way. And now I'm working on this video project, let's say, with five different customers, because I was just like, I don't know, I had like this use case of analysis, then I had the use case with transcription improvement, because I found out that I'm not really using audio in a lot of videos that I'm watching. So I'm really like dependent on the subtitles, because
Okay.
if a video doesn't have subtitles, I usually don't watch it, because I don't want to listen to all of the videos that I'm watching. So then I was like, okay, so I need to include subtitles in my videos. And I used like some services with automated subtitles. And probably I'm gonna share some of the results that I got on the way, because those were like so bad that you could never ever use those automated subtitles, especially with like non-native speakers, because
Hmm.
of course my pronunciation is not always perfect. And also, I don't know, people with talking with people like around the world, it's not that we have like the perfect English and you can understand everything. So then I tried to improve this, and then I tried to improve like a lot of other things. And I was just like at the IBC in Amsterdam, the International Broadcast Conference, with one of my customers in the media area. And we were just like talking to people, like just as you talk at a conference. So everybody who knows me from conferences knows that I'm talking a lot, and that I'm talking a lot about my ideas,
Yes.
like I always do. And I just showed some of those people like this workflow and pipeline I'm working on at the moment, and they were like, "Oh my god, that would solve so many problems that we have." And it was like, "Oh, really?"
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, and now we're working on those projects like with five customers, which is like, for me, that's amazing, because I don't know how to do like proper ads or whatever, and how to be like I don't know, an online personality, because I'm more like this offline person because I'm coming from on premises, so I'm more like the people person. And yeah, it's so great to see that other people also have the same problems, and that you can just like connect by talking about your ideas. And yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So basically, you are practicing what we call content marketing. So you have all those ideas. You want to talk about a problem that you are solving because you are facing that problem. If the conference accepts your talk, you are going to solve that problem. I understand, and then you are going to build it, and then you present what you do at the conference, and potentially someone in the room say, "Oh, I have the same problem. Can we work together?" That's your
Yeah,
pipeline, right?
yeah,
Okay,
exactly,
that's cool.
exactly. And it's not only like presenting something, but I mean, presenting, it's this conference driven development that I mentioned. So I usually, the things that I present usually, it's like the full idea of also the use case, is just like an idea that I had. So probably also with the video pipeline talks that I'm doing, I won't use like exactly the customer projects that I'm working on, of course,
Sure.
because a
Yeah.
lot of things are also confidential. And we already talked about this once. That's really, really hard. And like, to, as a consultant working on like confidential projects with confidential data, you cannot just like go somewhere and present about that. You cannot say, oh yeah, and that's a customer, and that's how much it costs for him, and that's how much it costs for the customer in the end, and whatsoever, because people usually don't want that, or probably they want it. I don't know, but my customers, I usually never ask them. Probably I should just ask them, but I never did that, because it doesn't feel like it's my idea then, because then I'm presenting somebody else's use case, even though probably I build it, but
Mhm.
it's their problem that I'm supporting them like to solve. But for like talks, I really want to frame it in a way so that I'm presenting something that is like my personal problem too, that can be like, I don't know, connected to a lot of other problems. Does it make sense?
It does. It does. Okay. Cool. So, what is the technical stack? So, you mentioned earlier that you started with App Runner. So, basically putting some agents into a container.
Yeah.
What type of framework were you using?
I
Crew
was
and
using Crew AI.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm still using Crew AI. So I was experimenting with some other agent frameworks,
Yeah.
but for me at the moment, it just doesn't make sense to move to another one, because sometimes the best technological decision is the one where you're like familiar with the methods. So because I just worked with it like for longer than a year now, so that's just the framework that I'm using at the moment, because it works super well with like multi-agent use cases. And also it works really, really well with agent core runtime. And at the moment, I'm also experimenting with agent core memory.
Uh-huh.
So to add like more, yeah, like more robust, like short-term and long-term memory. So that's like the next step for me to add.
Nice. Did you see content from Danilo Poccia on this?
No.
No, no. Danilo is one of our developer advocates he's based in the UK and one of the author of the news blog, and he has written a great content on Bedrock Agent Core with the memory so lots of great content. I will point you to that, and we'll add that to the notes.
Yeah, please, please. Because probably I saw it, but I'm like really bad with names. But
You will know
probably
about
it
Danilo.
could be. I know, but I'm so bad. I always need to see the people, and then I'm good, and then I can connect. But I'm so bad with remembering names.
That's so good. I would add to the notes of the show
Yes, please.
because he's showing how to deploy with the crude with LangChain and LangGraph
Ah, nice.
and Pydantic and Strange Agent. So why are
Mm-hmm.
you not using Strange Agent? Come
So
on.
I used Trans Agent for a use case with one agent.
Uh-huh.
I just kind of, and it's just for me, I kind of struggled with the multi agent setup. So it was just like more straightforward with Crew AI, and because I
Okay.
just had the setup already, so there was just like the only reason why I sticked with Crew AI, because of like, yeah, those multi-agent. And there was like one limitation that I don't remember. There was one limitation that I don't remember. I think back then, no, it was the why we didn't use Bedrock agents, because Bedrock agents
Oh yeah.
had like some other limitations. So I'm kind of like this project that we started last year. It was like every 2 or 3 months it was already legacy and kind of
Yes.
super outdated. Like when we started using like app runner to deploy like the agent setup, and then like some weeks after we started, like there was like the first conversations about agent core, and then agent core runtime came, and everybody was like, but why would you use app runner? And I'm like, yeah, because like it wasn't
Because it was
there back
there.
then. and
Yeah.
and that's like crazy, like how fast the cycles are at the moment, and like how short the cycles actually are getting. Because I don't know, like calling something legacy after like not even a year is
Yeah, it's
kind of
crazy.
crazy.
No,
It's,
yeah,
I don't know.
I do agree. And so yeah, so Bedrock agent is now probably something that is legacy, in the sense that we recommend strands at AWS, and I think I'm having a lot of fun with it. But as a Java developer, you should have you tried Spring AI or
No, not yet.
Bubble? No,
You sent me the link, but I didn't try it yet. Shame on me, but
no worries, no worries. So
but I
soon,
will. It's on my list. It's on the idea list. Probably I will submit a talk at the Java user group in Vienna, and then I have to do it.
yeah, yeah, indeed. So I would have James Squad, and do you know James? You met
Yes,
James, I
of
guess.
course,
Yeah,
of course. That's a name that I remember, because we're talking so much about so many things, and also about Java, of course. So
yeah. And so it will come soon to talk about Spring AI, and then I would have Rod Johnson also talking about Bubble, which is another framework for Java, which is really cool.
nice, nice.
Yeah,
I love that more Java content is coming.
yeah, yeah, indeed. So, me too. All right. What about AI to build? So, are you using any AI coding tools? This is a leading question.
I was like, before the podcast, I did like a short get ready with me video to think about how to frame specifically the question if it comes up about vibe coding.
Aha.
because that's why I wanted to mention in the beginning that I am actually a proper developer. And I I have the ability to write code myself, but I'm still using Kiro at the moment. So also kind of I'm using like a combination of like the also legacy Amazon Q developer. So a lot of things, that's like it's coming like all the time, like yeah, year after year things are legacy. So yeah, I'm still using like the legacy Amazon Q developer in VS Code, but I'm also using Kiro with like the spec-driven development, and also sometimes with the vibe coding. But the thing is that I am currently trying to leverage it the most, so that I can kind of write the specs with one that is not biased by like writing the code, and
Mhm.
then doing like spec driven development with Kiro, actually, because it just makes sense with a lot of more possibilities of using MCP servers. So that's like really kind of a limitation in like the combination of VS Code and Amazon Q Developer. It just doesn't work as I would like to have it. So Kiro is better in like using different MCP servers. So yeah, that's what I am currently trying to combine, like this vibe coding and spec driven development, because again, like this conversation I had in Vegas at the reInvent with this MIT professor, we talked a lot about this spec-driven development
Mhm.
approach, and how to actually build up like the documents and the specs that you need. And this is something that I'm kind of exploring at the moment. But I like all of the things that I'm vibe coding, this is not anything that I need like for my customer projects or whatsoever. Those are actually really just demos that I am showing, because it's just like to show or like to test if something is working. And I mentioned also that I'm not a front end developer, so if I build a front end, it usually looks not that good. So vibe coding helps a lot here, because I don't even have specifications for that. I'm like, I just want to have it simple in the colors of the customer, for example, for like a quick demo that we are just showing within a workshop that's like, I don't know, using 30 minutes of the
Yeah.
workshop. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't sit for like several weeks to code this myself if I know that the code base is not going to be used for the second phase, because I know that we're going to iterate over it and change everything again. So it doesn't make sense to like write it in a reusable way, but I still write it with automated pipelines, and of course like infrastructure as code, and with automated tests, and with like
Thank you.
all of the different tests that you need. I love unit testing and integration testing, just for the one reason that I can actually rely on the spec-driven development and vibe coding. Because if I would use my time to like check every single line of code that was generated, then I could just write it myself. So I would
True.
rather like use my brain power to think about like the actual tests and the scenarios that we need to test, like when something is ready, then like looking at the code. Because if I'm running it, and also like if it takes like 1 hour like to implement the feature, then implement the test and do like the whole testing, I'm fine, because it was 1 hour that didn't involve me, because I already wrote down exactly what I want to have. And that's like how I currently do it, like. And as I mentioned, like mostly for demos, just to show that something is working. And as soon as it goes like to the direction of, okay, this customer really wants to build a proper proof of concept, or a minimum viable product, or like a real functional product
Hmm.
with like monetization behind, then of course you have to make sure that you check like every line of code that is generated. That's just like really important, because you cannot trust AI. It's like, yeah, you can see like so many things, especially with vibe coding. Of yesterday, I was just like, I kind of fell into this um simplicity of just writing vibe coded like, oh, now can you just test like those free events, you can find the documents in my bucket, blah blah. It was like so crazy, because I didn't explain exactly like where to look and what to do. It was running like, because I checked it like after 5 minutes, I'm like, that cannot take like more than 5 minutes. Yeah, because he she it, I don't know, like the coding assistant just checked like, I don't know, every single file in every bucket, because I didn't limit it. And
Oh,
it was like
okay.
with this no context of vibe coding. Of course, like I just forgot that all of those context was missing in like this other chat window. And then it's like, sometimes of course you would be way faster if you just do it yourself, if you are working like on one project and the same context all the time. But if you're working like on several different projects, and you want to have results, and results, I don't say like you need to create like 5 different repositories
Hmm.
from scratch, because those are like different use cases and like different technologies. But if, for example, I don't know, let's say like the core or the base is the same, but you just have like different test cases for different users and for different companies and customers, then I can just like replicate it and say, okay, so here I prepared like 5 different test plans, and the expected results for everything, because every customer has like a different expectation
For
and
sure.
different use cases. And that's something where I can really scale like the whole testing. So I think I really love code assistants for testing, because that was like something that I just like really didn't enjoy doing, like
Like
especially like not
really.
the testing itself, but like the detailed documentation about it, so that it really makes sense. That's like really hard, and that's something that you can just yeah, log super easily. That's
Okay.
so convenient, and I love that. So yeah, but for real coding, it's hard. Is you really have to know what you're doing. And sometimes if I want to do things that I couldn't code myself, for example, at the moment I'm working with a customer, and focusing on like satellite data. So they're
Hmm.
like experts in is it geoinformatic, also in English? I don't know, like, but yeah, like,
Geocomputing.
yeah, geocomputing. Okay, geocomputing. Yeah. So they're focusing on that. So this means they have like, of course, like a lot of expert knowledge in like this spatial analysis and stuff and whatever. I don't understand this data yet, and I'm not like familiar with the business logic on how to get like insights of this specifically structured data. And those are things that, even if I'm vibe coding something, I'm like, I need to ask my customer if this is actually the expected result, because I don't know the data and I don't know the use case. And that's like really hard. And in those things, like, as I said, I'm just using it like for demos. And this demo is like, usually I'm presenting it then to the customer like, you are the expert in this field, I'm not an expert in everything, because I can help you with like deploying your agent setup. Then you need to help me with like the tooling and with the business logic. And then it's really interesting when we look at how this was implemented and whatsoever. It's like I have it when I'm vibe coding something that I can code myself, and I'm like, I would have never done it in this way. And actually, like, some things are wrong a lot of times. And yeah, or like
Yeah.
hard coded. It's like my
Yes.
main rule is never ever hard code anything. And a next tip here, advice for people using vibe coding especially, and not the spec driven development part. If you always ask the model, are you sure about that? You don't even have to be specific about whatever. Just like I'm sometimes just like copy pasting. Just like, are you sure about that? And most of the time, like, if it's really sure, then it's like, yeah, 100%, because this and that and that. And then like, oh, let me check that again, I'm not really sure.
Indeed. So going back to spec-driven development, are you using it? Are you actively using it, or because you talked about your experience with vibe coding that we
Hmm.
believe. I mean, I understand that you are not using it for more than a demo. But what about spec-driven development? What's your um, feedback about it so far? Your experience with this?
So at the moment, I'm kind of experimenting with the perfect spec, which I think there is no perfect specification, but that's like something that I'm trying right now, because sometimes for simple demos, it's too much for me. That's why I'm
Hmm.
like sometimes going back like to just vibe coding. If I just want to show something like one simple use case, then that's fine. But I'm currently working on like automating a lot of my tasks as a freelancer, like, I don't know, the invoicing, generating offers, and workshop documentation,
Hmm.
stuff like that. Like, things where I already put in the effort to have like the project, to do the workshop, and wrote down the notes, just like to summarize things. And I'm trying this with a spec driven approach, because I didn't find any SaaS service that I can use for my use cases, because most of them, like especially of like those automation tools and the low code platforms, most of them are lacking like the depth that I need for some services and for some, yeah,
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, that's why I want to build it myself with like different agents. So, and that's where I'm currently in the process of generating the specs, because that's like no priority project. This is also not something that I would submit for a conference, because it's kind of boring, I don't know. um
I don't know. I mean, many people are trying to automate their boring task, or and to speed up. I mean, boring like billing and and doing all of that.
Yeah, I mean,
importance?
if it works, then I can do a recap of how I
Yeah.
build it spec-driven, because that's like too much to do in vibe coding. And also, like, I tried the demo part already, like to build like a small assistant for me, who's like checking the mails and just like preparing drafts for me, and
Hmm.
it works fine. But if I really want to use it like on a day-to-day base, that's like something different. There's like a way different thing in like building a demo for like one use case you want to show on the stage. Even if it's a live demo, you exactly know what you have to type in, to like building it in a way so that it's like production proof, and so that you can actually use it for your day-to-day work. So but
Sure.
yeah, probably this would be interesting as a recap, because when I research about such things, like most of the people are using like those platforms and like low code services. So I just see like so many videos and stuff about, I don't even know all of those services and platforms, but there's like a lot of them, like where you can just
Yeah.
like connect things with drag and drop and stuff like that. And I love drag and drop. That's really nice. Like I love step functions because I can do it, but then I like having the code, and I just like use the visual representation for like understanding the yeah, like the overall process and architecture, because then it's easier for me to visualize it in my brain because I have a visual brain. But still, when I'm working, I want to work on the code, and I want to version the code. And
Makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
I
and that's
we
just
do
not
agree.
my thing. And I would have thought that that's just like my niche and my personal Linda problem, that I don't want to use those services.
That's all good. Don't. It's all good. I mean, it's fun to build as well, and I
Yeah.
have a long list also of stuff. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, how many domain do you have? Because with so many ideas, I suspect that you are buying a domain each and every time, right?
Oh my god, I have such a funny story, because apparently sometimes I forget that I bought domains already. So um so if I tell this now, then I really have to do it. That's also like another mechanism on how to get things done.
Okay.
So I bought the domain AWS Community .at, like for the AWS community in Austria.
Hmm.
And when I bought it, like I actually forgot about it. So it was, apparently it was like 1 year ago, because I got the email of like the renewal email. And some weeks ago I thought about, oh, I should buy this domain, and I checked the domain, and it was already gone. And I was like, oh my god, who would buy the AWS community .at domain? Like, there's like just
You.
me in Austria who's like, who would be interested in this domain. And I'm like, who could that be? And it was like really several days, and probably that shows that I was like kind of a little bit stressed during the time when I bought this, because it was like me starting the my self-employment journey. And I did like a lot of different things that I apparently already forgot about. But that was like the, oh my god. But I don't know. I think I have like at least 20 or 30 domains,
Wow,
at
that's good.
least.
That's a good number, indeed. So, what
Yeah.
about you, listeners? How many of them do you have? I think I've, yeah, in the range of 20 something for sure. Yeah.
But the tipping point when this changed was when Namecheap added in-app purchase to buy a domain. I was like, oh no, like those were the first domains that I bought, like I don't know, like in a club somewhere talking to someone, like, oh my god, that's such a good idea, we need to buy that domain now. And then when I get the email, the renewal, I'm like, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But every idea starts with like, with the demo, usually also with the domain, because it has to run somewhere. Like,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
it's like
Okay. All right.
the
We
name
are
and the
rich.
domain is very important.
Indeed. Indeed. And specifically when you have a good idea, you say, oh, yeah, it's so good. Okay, we are going to reach our closing round. So, would you have a book to recommend or any other resource that you found so good that you want everyone to read it or to listen to it?
Well, a book. I'm not so much like the reading person. I could send you some blog posts later, but it's hard to
Yeah,
recall. But thinking about like one book, and I think this is still very important at the moment because things are always changing. And one book that really opened my eyes, and I would have wished to. Yeah, to read it sooner, and I hope I don't mistake it, but I think it's called The Phoenix Project.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
The Phoenix Project. I think
By
it's a
Jim
classical,
King.
it's a typical book that everybody would recommend or whatever. But it was literally like when I read it, I understood the whole like reorganization stuff of like the from coming like from waterfall to agile. I understood
Yeah,
it like so much more, and I read it after I went through such a transformation in a company, as one of the employees, also being like involved in a lot of yeah, those idea sessions on how to work better in an agile environment. And that was like one book that I really would have hoped to read earlier.
wow.
And another book, also like a classical book, but yeah, I don't read that much, is Clean Code. I
Yeah.
still love it. I still love
Hmm.
it. It's like for a lot of things, also thinking about, I don't know, like how would you set up the I don't know, the agent instructions for different agents, or how would you explain the setup? How do you decide how complex it has to be? How many agents? Stuff like that. It's like just think back about how you wrote clean code. It's still code. It's like
Yes, very
it's
much.
not that you're doing something different. Just think about like those topics that you did like years before, and we still have the same methods. We can still use like the same baselines. We still should do test driven development. We should still use automated pipelines to be better. It's like, I don't know, like yeah, i
Totally.
think i think
No,
the
yeah,
classical books, because
that's great.
I'm not so much into like all of the new things, because everything else is videos actually. And I'm watching like a lot of videos, because as I'm working like at home alone, most of the time I just have like some tutorials running. I love watching like live coding sessions from James, of course,
Good. Yeah,
and the V Brownback show from, like, is it,
for sure.
yeah,
For
V
Chris.
Brownback from Chris. Yeah, it's like, because those are like the times when because of the different time zones,
Yep.
usually that's like the when I'm like trying to solve a problem, and it's already been, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours of trying to solve this, and then I get the notification of, oh, V Brownback is live, and I'm like, hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
Okay.
interesting. And yeah, because like I'm most of the time not like looking for something specific, because the specific things that I'm doing, most of the time there's not a lot of content about that. And
Sure.
yeah, but the Phoenix Project and Clean Code, those are
Good.
my two recommendations.
Thank you for that. And you can add the Unicorn project, which is kind of the next one after.
I
It's
know, but I
it's
wasn't so
the other side.
overwhelmed. I wasn't so overwhelmed by that one, because, of course, I also read this one, or I think I have it as an audiobook. I think I didn't even read it. The only book that I actually read was Clean Code. Oh my god, that sounds so bad now. I can read, and I'm reading a
That's so
lot of
good.
books.
It's so
It's-
good. It's so good. No worries. Let's move on. Let's move on. So, what other developers should I interview next? Who should I
did you
interview next?
already interview Chris Williams?
Chris? No, not yet.
Well, Chris Williams, because he has like so many funny stories, and he's always like a great person
Indeed,
to talk to.
he's great.
And
So, what should we ask him?
well, I would ask him about how he got into tech. So I think that's like the most hilarious story on how he found out his talent for tech.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That sounds a great
I mean,
topic indeed.
probably I will I don't know, manage to edit this video, because I did an interview with Chris I don't know, it was last year, when I wanted to start like another, like a domain I bought. and, and when I bought this domain, I was like, oh, now I should do content for that. And then I did like 5 video interviews, but I didn't edit them to like upload them. But he shared the story there. I think there cannot be enough of that content.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Linda, for audio stories and sharing so much. And enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
And thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for having me. It was great talking to you.
My pleasure. Thank you.